Hello everyone, this is Pagdia. I'm giving you a new online commentary. This is one of the very few games that I've done recently on Steam. Honestly, I haven't been playing a lot, and also I have been quite inactive on my YouTube channel. Now I got a new headset. I want to keep you updated from time to time. I honestly don't care if you find it fun or whatever, if to keep you updated or whatever. I just miss the game sometimes, and I want to maintain the habit of updating my channel. Let's put it this way. Anyways, this is a 2 versus 2, the game that was played on Steam, 31k rule set, and I was just checking the settings, and I am playing as Skippy. I have 5 Praetorian Cav, 3 Auxiliary Archers, and 12 Urban Cohorts. Next to me I have Cleomenes the third from Greek clan, who is playing as Pontus, and he has 4 side chariots, 2 chariot archers and 3 regular archers, and he also has got 11 bronze shield pikemen. On the other team we have Ezrax from IOW clan, who is playing with Macedon, with 2 companion cav and 5 Christian archers and 13 royal pikemen. And Ezra is allied with Tiberius from GOTW. Not a very experienced, not a very good player, I would say, but he's good, he's decent, at least much better than Tara and Bot, I would say. So the guy got a brain, so if you tell him what to do, if you give him an idea, he will, can help you gain the edge, specifically in this matchup, since this matchup gives Macedon and Rome quite some advantage on Pontus and Rome. Tiberius got standard build with SPQR, and he has that means he has 6 Praetorian Cav and 14 urban cohorts. We see Cleomenes is already doing a good job with moving up his chariot archers, shooting Ezra's archers before we advance with our archers and with our bronze shield infantry. I think here Tiberius has to be a little bit active, try to push those chariot archers back. Nothing really avoids him from doing that. These chariot archers are not being supported by any allied troops, as you can see, so they are pretty much easy targets, so that means they will simply be forced to fall back if the Praetorians are pushing. This is exactly what we are going to see. Cleomenes doesn't want to leave it to a chance, so he falls back immediately, seeing that Tiberius is advancing, but yeah, he already managed to do some damage. Honestly, this is terrible. In a way, on Steam I'm getting so much lag. That's because I cannot, because of that I cannot double speed or triple speed, but it should be okay. Seeing that there was a threat against these chariot archers, I give Cleo 2 of my Praetorian cavalry to make a little bit, to not to make it too much easy for Tiberius to push on these chariot archers. And I am not I think my Praetorian cavalry has got, I think they have only 6 upgrades. Yes, they have only 6 upgrades. So enemy doesn't want to be aggressive, I understand that. So that will also mean we can pretty much shoot the arrows, and then which is pretty much the biggest threat against Pontus, as Pontic infantry is pretty much vulnerable against arrows. And if we manage to diminish the number of the enemy archers, then this threat will go away eventually. So Archer War seems to be going good for us, and enemy seems to be doing the passive archer, how do you say that, war. They do not want to gain any edge by doing anything else, in a way push on our archers and stuff. As you can see, some of our archers are pretty much exposed in the flank, but Ezra doesn't want to push, which I understand. He doesn't have many cavalry, so for that Tiberius has to be active, or has to put some initiative to try to catch these, because also they are losing the archer war here. So there are almost no archer units left, while we have quite some archers, which will mean if these infantry want to fall back but not push, they will be an easy target. We see something interesting is happening. Ezra is dividing his army into two. He is advancing with the half of his army where his general is not present, to engage my units. I think the idea is to get as much pillar as on those royals, while his ally can target my infantry, which is a good idea, I think, but also very risky to some extent, because this move simply didn't do much damage for me. As you can see, I was able to throw quite some pillar on those units. You can see their numbers are pretty low, while my numbers were not that low. He managed to rout one of my unit, but the other units, they have some pillar and they have some numbers, I would say. So here Ezra is being aggressive. He decides to push with the other half of his army. Basically he sees that Tiberius doesn't have a will to do anything. He tries to gain the, to benefit the faction advantage by doing something, but it is also kind of a mistake. As you can see, his army is, this half of his army is a lot isolated from his other half, also from his allies' army, which will make this army an easy target because he's in our territory. As you can see, if you divide the map like with this line, he crossed the line, which makes him more accessible for our troops. So what we decided with Cleo, try to be defensive here. I leave my general here, but Cleo and my units in combo, we try to rush these pike units, and I'm also using all of my cavalry force there, and we will see at some point Cleo is using his chariots to run to follow them. So we are not going to leave these guys, we will follow them as much as we can. As we see, there are also distance, so this will also mean that we cannot be targeted by big enemy forces. There are not much danger here, so all I'm doing is just charging with my units on those pikes Ezra has, and Cleo supporting. We will eventually catch some units. I'm trying to charge with my unit. I wanted to see either Ezra is focusing on this part or not, but good credits to him, he was. But that's also has a drawback, which is you see, as he has to put phalanx down, that will mean our infantry is reaching them. So, and being outnumbered heavily, not being supported by ally and stuff, that these guys are being targeted easily. So he almost lost like 80% of whole infantry force that he wanted to decide. That is the thing in 31k. I mean, if you don't do a teamwork, then you pay. What here, I think, since this line is not that easy to pass, if he leaves some guys here, I mean, if Tiberius leaves some of his infantry here, he can maybe support, maybe gain some edge, maybe look for the weakness. Otherwise, it's not looking good for their team. And now he decides to use his cavalry, but he's also not very good in terms of how to utilize those cavalry on this infantry, which was not being protected by our cavalry. So he literally charged on the one unit which was in Testudo and which was being protected by my allies' pikes. So he lost some almost 10 men in each unit, which is quite some loss without doing routing any unit. Now I bring all my units back, all my cavalry back. The mission almost accomplished here. Cleo still is pushing those units. He chases those routed units. He doesn't want them to return back, which is a good idea and which will definitely pay off. I have all my cavalry back to protect my infantry. Our infantry line is steady, so does enemies. But the one thing is, I was really much worried about the pillar of Tiberius, because as far as I remember, he was not able to throw all of his pillar, but at this stage he must have had a lot of pillar left, if I'm not missing something, if I didn't miss something. That would mean, as you can see, a lot of my units are engaged, a lot of Cleo's units are engaged. Our units also are tired, winded. My infantry are tired, winded. So he can do something, he can do quite something with this infantry unit if he uses pillar good and if he does something. A good move by Ezra here. I was very late to move my cavalry back while he charged on those cavalry from the side, and this is not an engagement that you have to stay in, so I had to get my cav back, but man, it costed me a lot. That was a good move. One of my cav got routed, the other one, I don't know, it got some damage too, I think. Cleo is chasing those cavalry with one chariot. That was a good move too, but this chariot will probably get routed, being so close to so many enemy units and also being so much away from our troops. And also a good move that they stopped moving, which will also make it pretty difficult for chariots to run. Now we got some routes. I am using my pillar, I'm getting the angles, and we are planning to make a massive attack on this infantry. I got some angles, I'm gonna charge, and this is the perfect moment probably that we would ever get to charge, to use all how do you say that, our cavalry forces aggressively. Because the moment you try to make the enemy to go to some sort of a box, if you manage to get some routes, it is a perfect moment if you can get the angles, if you can get the position and use your forces aggressively on enemy. As you can see, this immediately we catch the momentum and we simply use our forces properly at with the correct timing, with good decisions, that simply resulted in easy mass rout. Well, overall this was a really boring game, I would say. Tiberius was some sort of, you know, AFK AI, I would say. Don't take it personal, mate, but you didn't do anything. I don't think he attacked or he did anything, honestly. Ezra tried to do something, but I mean, that is pretty much understandable. You cannot do it alone with Macedon, with half of your army against Rome and Pontus. It's very risky, and honestly I can't judge him there. I don't know if it was, but I think, yeah, it's not a good decision, but who cares. But all the decisions has to be evaluated properly, like in a way yeah, if it is wrong decision, then you say it is a wrong decision. I think that move made things a lot more easier for us. If, for example, they had a little bit more archers, let's say we equally finish, end up being in the equal, how do you say that? Have equal archer force, then even if they go into box, that would be extremely difficult for us to win. But yeah, no, I like when players are trying to be aggressive, trying to be creative and stuff. These are all just the friendly games. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will probably update some more games from time to time. And I haven't played a lot lately. Couple of games in couple of months, honestly, or a month. But I should be having more games in the folder, so should be able to update the channel. Anyways, GG to everyone. Well played to Cleo, and see you guys later.